Hey guys, this is Apostle Ely. We are here Saturday. Yes, thank you for each and every one of you. Apostle Ely wants to say that he appreciates a lot of you guys. I want to say to my TikTok family, I want to say to my YouTube family and all my Patreons, I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate getting this opportunity to speak with this woman of God in my aspect, Gabby the Seer. This is a lot of this information will be able to help you guys to understand how spirit works with different people. The Bible says it more clearly. It stated, here she is.
Hey,
Hello. My God, so good to
hey,
see you.
how you doing? How
Oh,
are you, Apostle? What's going on?
I'm not, no, we had talked a little bit earlier, but we both are excited to be here. And I tell you guys, I was just telling them we're going to get a great opportunity to see how, like the scriptures talks about, there's different manifestation, different operations of the spirit, but the same God, the same spirit. And I think this is such
Amen.
an opportunity for many those, especially in the Christian faith, coming from the church, because a lot of people are practicing spirituality and they're looking for manifestation, not the religious part of it, but to actually grow in a universal aspect and to get the
Yes,
opportunity to understand what it is to be a medium, like to respect that energy. In the church, it would consider a prophet or prophetess. We do
absolutely. Absolutely.
exact we do the exact same thing. I think that a lot
Yes,
of
we
times
do.
people get caught up on terminology, not realizing, you know what I'm saying? Black woman, white woman, Russian woman, it's a woman. You know what I'm saying? Um, and understanding and
Yes,
respecting and understanding why that is so important, especially the gift that you have. Me a Sagittarian, you being a beautiful Cancer, that lunar energy.
yes.
So it's all about
Cancer.
that. So I love my that's the astral energy, loving that. And I think that sharing that information with people so that they can understand whether for any religion, when you see certain people being channeled, the spirit is channeling through them, or some people talk about angelic channeling, or you know,
Yes,
myself, it happens to me a lot. That I channel a lot. We don't use the word like, oh, the spirit would speak. We have different ways we phrase it, but we're basically saying the same
that's right.
thing. We're saying the same thing.
Correct.
And
Correct.
I really want to give the opportunity. First of all, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a part of this. I know you're gonna do. You have a great heart. I Shadow Wolves talked about. They love you. I mean, just the spiritual community. She's like, that's my girl. That's my. I think very highly of Shadow Wolves. I am talking
Yeah.
right now with Santista Brujo. So God is good. And I think that for
Yes. Yes.
people to see our lives and see how we are able to share knowledge without contention, without jealousy, without envy, and showing the mature aspect of these traditions and our
Yeah.
beliefs. We may practice certain workings differently, but it's coming from the heart. You know what I'm saying? We still have the
Right.
same
That's
system.
right.
So I'm gonna stop
Absolutely.
chit chatting because I want to introduce you properly. Guys, listen. This is Gabby the Seer. That's what it E-R, okay? The Seer, okay? She is very talented cancer, that Cancerian energy. And she has helped a lot of people. She does readings on YouTube. I saw her video she does with the different zodiac signs. She breaks them down and does readings on those. Also, she's very sweet and she has a desire to help people. And I want to give her some space to reintroduce her on my platform. Gabby to see her, y'all. All right.
Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Apostle, thank you so much. Thank you so much, honey, for opening your doors, for opening your heart and sharing space. For anybody who knows me, Y'all don't have to. I just say Gabby Seer. Don't ask me where that comes from. In the old days, back
You
in
know?
the old days, biblical days, instead of saying prophet
Yeah.
or prophetess, they would say seer, right? And
Right.
so that's kind of where I got the name from, right? Because that's just when we say seer, that's just somebody who, like many of us out there,
Discerning.
have
Yeah. Discerning.
clairvoyance or
Right.
discernment. What we call clairvoyance, we call discernment. Discerning of the spirits, right?
Right.
It's all the same thing, right? But y'all can call
Mhm.
me Gabby. I don't necessarily need no fancy titles and nothing like that, right? And Gabby is good enough. Gabby's
Thank you
fine.
for sharing the
But
live. They're coming in. They're coming in.
yeah, yeah. So I I all right, so I'm gonna try to get on through where we can, I want to be able to let it flow, the conversation flow
Right.
back and forth, right? But I come from the Pentecostal church as well too. I
Right.
come from a Pentecostal background. I was raised up in the church. I was brought up in the church.
Mhm.
Um, and one of the beautiful things that I've noticed out of all of these years is that um, my grandmother traveled. She was an evangelist. She was
Mhm.
a minister, of song, and she was also a medium, right?
Right.
And these are things that I'm not
What you
talked
say?
about, right?
Bloodline.
These
Come on.
these are not things that I talked about. But my grandmother, around 6 years of age, she pulled out a deck. You hear me, Apostle? She pulled out a deck of playing cards,
Playing cards.
and she spread it on the table. And she says, "Read that for me. Read that." I said, "Grandma, they just look like numbers." And she says, "Read it for me." And I just went and just tapped the cards, and I was like, whatever. I don't.
Right.
This is boring. Little kid, you don't know what it means. Years later, around 13 years of age, she did it again, and she says, "Here, read these for me." And so, not realizing that these are things that are not talked about in the church. This is a woman who very much loved God, and I believe even then she was trying to bridge the gap.
Right.
It's just that a lot of us don't talk about certain things in
Right.
communities of color, right? Um, I created this. I don't, without trying to deviate. I think that I don't want to ever say that um, I left the church, right?
Mhm.
I want to say that I was sent to do an
You
assignment,
outgrew religion.
fulfilled it.
You outgrew religion.
Yes, feel right, right, right. Outside of the four walls, right?
Right.
And a lot of times God will send you into different places,
Mhm.
into a different mission. It looks differently, it just looks
Right.
differently. The names just change. The names just change.
Right.
So, Apostle, what are some? I'm gonna, because I want to let you kind of
I
gears
wanna
in
I
the
wanna say this,
direction.
like when you were talking about your grandmother putting the cards out, because in the Bible it talks about casting of lots. It is still a form of
Mhm.
divination that
Yes,
our people have done for centuries. And thank you so much for the roses. Thank you, guys. When you're talking about your grandmother, she basically what she was testing when the awakening was going to take place. It's no different than Paul was testing Timothy. You know what I'm saying? It's like all
yes,
this stuff is going on, and then I'm sitting here listening to you, and you're saying like, "Hey, how y'all doing?" When you think about some of the things as how early on that you were being groomed, and even in the church, but then you couldn't talk about it. But it doesn't mean it didn't exist. Didn't mean that it
sure.
wasn't in the Bible. But how, and I tell people, how can somebody preach something they don't operate in? A lot of people don't
That's
realize
true.
that a lot of the pastors that were over these congregations were not spiritual. They were hired. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
that's it.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
how can and I always tell people, how can you watch from my soul when you can't see? My soul is
you better
spirit.
say it, honey.
Are you understanding?
Come on
Like, let's
now.
say really clear. Like, how is it that your pastor, that's like somebody being your financial advisor that don't know money. You're like, how this gonna happen? Like, you ain't
That's
good
it.
with
That's
money.
the
Like,
whole word.
no, you hire a man to tell you what you want to hear. You did not hire a shepherd, because a shepherd is a watchman on the wall. That means they have to be able
That's
to
right.
see. God has to speak to them, has to be able to guide
That's
them.
right.
And so therefore, the reason why a lot of the gifts could not be um enunciated or developed is because the people that were in charge were not spiritual.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I want to say this: no, you can't lead the church because you is the church. And the term that I would use was
Hey,
the temple. You are the shrine.
that's
Okay.
right.
You
That's
just,
right.
the
Yes,
glory's
sir.
on the inside. You know what I'm saying? You got a little
Come on
decorated.
now.
All right. So
That's it. That's it.
I think that the way that you do not never justify why you want to grow. Never justify why you knew that there was more to what was going on. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that because you were fearfully and wonderfully made by God. So when you think about how you came across your gift and how your grandmother recognized it, how did she just test? She kept testing you at periods of time.
My my grandmother, she, you know, much like a lot of y'all, there was no such thing as you were not going to church, right? Because you was
Right.
gonna go to
Yeah,
church
I was going to
whether you
church.
wanted to or you did not. That's right. You were gonna go to church. There was no such thing as you not going to church. You were up. No matter how you felt, you were up, and you something was going on, right?
Right.
She didn't start it immediately, and for what amount of time? Why she stopped within that gap of years and decided not to do it? I traveled with her when she went to preach and when she traveled to different places, things of that nature, and she would pray and I would see how she believed very much like in the laying of hands, and
Mhm.
sometimes she would start praying, but then there would be a flowing that would come up and I'm seeing
Right.
like these things in operation. And so I'm noticing at the same time, you guys, throughout my life, I'm constantly running into people who were practicing the ATR, the African traditional religions,
Traditions.
right? And so
Right.
here I am having both different, a similar but different face on both
The
sides of the
church
stream.
and then
And
the ATRs.
absolutely. So I'm walking with both of them
Mhm.
hand in hand. But there were things that I was doing. In regards to, for example, spiritual baths,
Right.
that nature that I was doing, but I was doing in silence. There were things that were just done in silence, but it was done all alone. My grandmother, why she waited until 13, I do not know, but she gradually would do little things like this, and
Mhm.
she would not speak about it. And my mom, it wasn't until my mom came home one day and she was looking to play space with her friends, and she says, where are my cards going to? She says, I'm noticing that I got some cards missing out of the deck, and there's like no joker in there. I'm looking for the ace of spades. There's no spades there.
Right.
What's happening with all my cards? And my grandmother looked at me and I looked at her and we just burst out laughing. And that was like the
Right.
inside thing that was going on. And my family would always talk about, uh, um, me and my grandmother would joke. She says, "I know you're not going on down there to the root worker. You're not going on down there to the root worker." So it was
Right.
always around that energy, that fear, and at the same time, this was very much a woman.
Me.
So
Yo, I
what I
feel
was seeing was what I was seeing was her integrating. What I was
Mhm.
seeing was a connection being made without necessarily severing ties. What I was seeing was her, connecting to her ancestral roots, and
Right.
still, we would get up, and she very much believed in the power and the flowing of the Holy Spirit, and that is what has made me. And that probably is. I look at a lot of stuff she said to me out of nowhere
Mhm.
before she passed. And there was something that I was talking to somebody about I was mentioning on one of the videos the other day, Apostle Ely, when I said that a lot of times when a person does not have, whether it be an outlet, whether they have a way, whether they have a mentor, whether they have the ability, if people do not acknowledge gifts, okay,
Right.
I'm going somewhere with this. If people don't acknowledge gifts, especially with mediumship, things of that nature, whatnot, you could confuse a genuine gifting given by God, by Spirit,
Right.
for something else, right? And so my grandmother, in her later years, I watched and observed as I started to go on my own journey, and I learned that this woman was a medium, and
Right.
this is where it comes from. And because it was never, or maybe it was because, once again, um, because sometimes, like you said, there are some who don't operate in a certain area,
Mhm.
and because they don't operate in it, it's viewed as demonic or it's viewed as other or something we
Mhm.
don't do or we don't talk about such. And he started to have symptoms and things of that nature that mimicked. Not to say that mental illness is not real, but that
Right.
mimicked some people would say when they would say schizophrenia, but when
Mhm.
I what really dawned on me is before her passing, I was on the other side of the world, honey. I was in Puerto Rico,
Mm-hmm.
and I was meeting and having a full on conversation. She would do stuff like this all the time, full on conversations with people. I had not talked to her, and she would get on that phone and she just would start reading the air for Phil. And I said, well, either she really did lose her mind or some speaking here,
All
And
right.
I said, what is this that she's channeling spirits? And these are not necessarily, there's something here. And so that's what caused me, what I'm trying to say, apostles, that's what caused me to seek out. That's what caused me to seek out. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what caused me to ask and seek God and say, you know what? You know, what if we all have gifting? What if it's meant to be used in a different light, in a different way,
Right.
in a different manner? How can I go about doing that? And that's what brought me onto this journey. And one day I just woke up and I said, you know what? When I went through my process and I had to
Mm-hmm.
cry it on through, I said, you know what? There's something more here that I need to be doing. And the dreams started to come. The dreams started to come. The things started to
Right.
come. The people started to show up. And I said, there it is. There it is. And that's what brought me on this journey. And I just started to walk from there, you know?
I want to go back over something because I want people to really understand why women, especially women, African women, in the Church of God in Christ, a Christian church, AME churches. Let's be honest. Black women had a hard way to go. It don't matter how gifted and talented she was. I don't care what she. Black women have supported the church for centuries. Since there was a thing called church in America, it has been black women.
Yes,
What has happened
yes,
is that because insecure men, seen talented women, gifted women, they would use their gift, they would use their talent, but they would not be able to profit from it. So what they had to do, because women learn this, women have learned this to survive, how to dumb down themselves, how to minimize their shine, in order not to
there you go.
allow a fragile man to feel out preached, out taught, out gifted. Don't like the reason why women have had to operate in such a dark space to help people is because of the behavior. It has nothing to do with God. It had nothing to do
That's it.
with um, being ashamed of their gift or their talent. When you are dealing with oppression in the church, come on here, where they say where the spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. That ain't true. We all
Liberty.
know that
Right,
ain't true.
honey.
You came up in the church, you know you didn't live with freedom. You didn't have a right to say what was on your mind. You didn't have the right to
That's true.
feel. I remember when
That's true.
we were kids, and I had a sailor mouth. I never cussed around my family. My mom ain't play all that, right? But my
That's
grandma
right.
said the word she said. But we had to go to church. But you remember the time when you like I stepped on the church ground. I'm like, whoa, thinking lightning gonna come out, because you were taught to fear. You understand?
That's
I
right.
we talk about this. I want you to understand that there's a certain era of time that was going on when your grandmother was coming up. There are certain things that she couldn't, if she did, they would have shut her down. Because it's all about networking. It didn't matter how gifted
That's
you are. Because let me tell y'all something. I'm going to be real with you. See, what they don't tell you in the church about a woman, the preacher can sleep with the woman, but she can't preach the word.
you
They don't
better
tell
go
you
ahead, honey.
who
Right.
she is.
That's right.
If
That's
you are
right.
not subjugating yourself, because a lot of people that are in charge are not spiritual. They're good businessmen. They're good business women. Go ahead. Come on. Come on. Go ahead.
And they will give as a woman, they will give you opportunity to use your gift, but
Mm-hmm.
you just cannot step on any toes and you cannot jump out of line. They've created a certain box. Okay, let's be
Mm-hmm.
real. They've created a certain box, and you are allowed to operate within those measures of that box. And if you step out, okay, we all know there's hell to pay. Okay, and so and if they feel as if you were trying to climb up this ladder on through,
Mm-hmm.
one way or another, they're going to bring you back on down because not according to God, not according to spirit, but according to them and what's in
Yeah.
their heart, they put you back down into that place where they believe that you were designed to be. Okay, and that's them here. Okay, as a
Mm-hmm.
as a man. Okay, we
Right.
seen in this construct in church. and as a woman, you know you're here. In other words, knowing your place. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to be in a place of position or one that carries authority. You know what I'm saying? But then
Can I
again,
just
that's
interject a little bit here? Because we better get into something. Because let me explain how much contradiction this is. Because in the Bible, in Genesis, he said he blessed them, right? And he gave them dominion. He didn't give a man dominion. He gave them dominion.
right. That's right.
Male and female, he created them. So we both were created in God's image. And so therefore, if I'm gonna say that I got a crown on my head, I'm a king, I got to acknowledge the queen. You know what I'm saying? So the, I want us to understand that when you see women breaking out in other ATRs, they're even in the ATRs, it's that same mindset. Women do not have the freedom to express their goddess energy, their divine energy. Go ahead, sweet. Go ahead.
That's a beautiful point that you made. That's, and I'm just, and I'm not going to interrupt. I want you to keep flowing with what you were saying there. I just wanted to say that I've noticed this, and I give honor to whatever part of the ATR religion you walk in, right? But
Mm,
one thing I've noticed about in religions in regards to like Sanse,
mm,
okay, and voodoo, is that a lot of times a woman can hold a position as a mambo, right?
mm.
You know, as a high priestess in
Eva.
voodoo, whereas in the others, I ain't mentioning no names.
Right,
You cannot necessarily operate. You can have a
right.
title, but you're not given the title. And masculine can't function without feminine energy. In
Right.
order to heal, you have to integrate the both of them, right? So that's
Mhm.
it. That's it. That's it. Come on,
No,
Papa. Go
no,
ahead with
because
it.
this is good because this is what I'm talking about. How are you going to tell people to walk their spiritual journey when you start them out in restriction? You tell them that God is unlimited, but you're constantly putting limits on people. Let me explain something to you.
Wow.
Like you're hearing this from a male. You're hearing this from a male child. My power was birthed through a woman. My bloodline, like everything, like people are mesmerized about my gifting, but I've always give honor to my bloodline. I'm able to do necromancy through my father bloodline, but that comes through my mother's generation. You see what I'm saying? So, my whole point is feminine energy is the Holy Ghost. When you say
Yeah,
that the Spirit
that's
fell upon,
beautiful.
anytime that you mention Holy Ghost, you talking about a woman. Now remember in that same Bible,
Yeah,
heaven is fashioned like a woman and hell is fashioned like a woman. So that lets you know the universe as above, right? So below, woman above and
that's
woman below.
right.
Oh yeah, like
Yes.
it's science. Like you can't create every time you mention the word creator, you talking about a woman. Right here, I got my pot.
That is so beautiful.
My pot that represents the
Yes.
womb, right? That the pot is the womb.
Yes.
The gal, you talking about the
Yes, it
woman.
is. Yes,
You
it
constantly
is.
when you anytime you mention creation and you say Elohim, creator, you talking about a woman. Anytime you mention that you're conjuring, if you use the word conjure, you're talking about a woman. You come on.
That is, Apostle. That's. I just wanted to say. I just want to tell you how amazing what you just said was. Resonated with me because I used to say for many years. You used to say, well, no, 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 because God is a man because it clearly says such and such. And I used to say, what if God just used that name? What if He just used that name just to try to that's just because that's what you see there. I said,
Mm.
God in essence is spirit, and so I said God can operate. God is mother to those who need
It's in the
mother, right?
Bible.
You know what I'm
He's a
saying? To
mother
those
like
who
a
have
hen.
never, okay. And I said, so you can't say that God is father for you, but He's mother for me, right? She is mother for me, right? And so I just love how you said, the Holy Spirit. You're referring to woman, right?
Right.
Obviously, I can't really go with like exegesis and all the fancy things of the Bible. So I'm gonna, I would leave that over into your hands. But I absolutely agree, a whole 100%.
I just want
When it
I
comes,
want people to understand that when you're this is where the disrespect comes from for women that they because of how the structure has set it up. Fiona was saying wisdom is referred to as a her. Exactly. So um
yes,
everything is energy. Everything is male energy, female energy at the end of the day, right? Energy is transmuted, right? So we use certain
absolutely,
energies to do certain things. This is when we use water or earth, that's feminine energy. Because that's
yeah,
how we eat. That's how we get life. Woman represents
that's
life.
right,
When you want to
that's
get
right.
stuff done, you use the masculine, the air and the fire, because you want to move some things or you want to burn something. This is all. If you're gonna understand magic, when we talk about God, I'm talking about male and female. I can say God, goddess. You know, at the end of the day, if you look up in the sky, you're looking at a woman. If you go to if you believe in hell, she ruled that. That's her kingdom.
You better know
Okay. If you
it.
want if you want to lay down in a cemetery, you still laying down in a womb, because the cemetery is a womb. The grave is a womb,
That's
right?
right.
Am I right about it? So even if you, like, when people
That's
do
right.
spiritual work, when they put you in the grave, they put you in the womb of death. Who rules that? A woman.
That's deep, honey.
Oh yeah.
Come with it.
See, I've been doing this a long time, and I'm here to support you as a black woman, because you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And I hope that when people say that we want to restore power back to the church or back to spirituality, that we understand this is not, even in the Bible say there's no male nor female. It's energy, it's spirit.
That's right.
And
That's
then
right.
Goddess wants to interpret itself through whatever gender it chooses. Because that same God spoke to through the donkey.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? That's why God created all things. So that's why we can use the birds, the trees, the plants, the pollos, all this stuff. So therefore, at the ashe, the chi is in all of that. That's what makes magic work. That's what makes things manifest. But the church, I think this is so perfect when you're talking about leading, because you say, I don't want to say that you can't leave what you were created. Like, that's like you trying to say, well, I ain't trying to be in no, you DNA. Like, you don't have to be welcome to the family reunion. You know,
That's
you at home.
it. That's it.
Like, you say, Auntie may
That's
not
it.
like you, but you come into my house, I ain't got no problem with you. Come on over.
That's right. That's
What
right.
I wanna
That's
I
right.
wanna say this before we go talk to you a little more. I really want to apologize to you how the church has handled you and ostracized you. I like I'm still a part of that venue, so I have the divine right to do so. And as a man, I want to apologize to you, as you being a woman, and the level of ignorance that men have in order to have a supposed position. Like, I walk in real power because I have an understanding where that source is. And I respect and honor that in you. And I really want you to understand, like, you don't have to explain yourself. What you need to do is show yourself. Because that'll speak volume.
Yes. Right.
Because you can't explain something to somebody that's not looking for truth. They got to first, in order to grow spiritually and understand all this that people hear and see, you got to first want to open your mind to be educated and stop trying to complicate stuff because you have certain insecurity. I hope, like, when you're talking now, I hope you really understand that the church has lost so much riches because of ignorance and because of money and control. Because let me tell you something. What the reason why? Let me tell y'all. I hope all women hear this, especially start black women and everybody come down, because black women are the beginning of life. All right, if if you understand primordial energy and chaos energy, you will understand the woman. You understand the womb. You understand magic. Most men cannot deal with chaos energy, which is dark matter, which is what the woman is made of, which is what I come out of, birthed out of dark matter. But when you are trying to have a conversation with a man that is ignorant and you're speaking from a divine wisdom, that's where the miscommunication is. It's not because you are in the dark, he is not developed.
I love that.
A lot of times I see women are constantly trying to make men ready. No, men have to develop. Women escalate way faster than men. It's scientifically proven. It is like, this is not even up for debate. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why I have testicles is because you have ovaries. The only reason I have a chest is because you got breasts. Because all life starts in feminine energy. I only became a man when testosterone, that chemical, changed. Because I look like my mom, my
Powerful.
grandma. But when the chemicals, decided to say, you know what, this is going to be a male version of God. That's how I descended. But when I started off, I started as female. Study science.
That's
You
it.
have nothing to
That's it.
apologize.
That's it.
I'm a support system. I want you to know this. From here on out, like when I'm connecting with you guys, you ain't got to be arguing. I'm the debater. You do your work. You help, you guide people, and you teach people. That's what women do. Huh? And then you sit, go
What
ahead.
you were, Apostle, what you were just saying, I'm just gonna say, just on the side note, you were just like kind of tapping in. You may not have known. You just kind of just
Go
flowing
ahead
on
on.
through
You
the
know,
room.
I'm a medium too. Go
You
ahead
just
on. Go ahead on. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you just
Go,
speaking on
don't
some
start
things
now.
that
Don't
we
start
were
now.
that happened. You just transpired and just speaking and flowing in the spirit. There's on some things that transpired earlier in the day. So I'm just looking at you like, yeah, I'm with it. That is running through the room, just reading all my business. Going through all my business. So I want to say that what, the moment I stepped outside of the four walls, I
Hmm.
knew that in order for me, before I could walk on this journey, you know, you know, a healer can't heal without being healed, right?
Come on.
I can't give anything to you that I don't have, right? And so if I can't give you or operate from love, okay, I can't connect with my spirit guides, my ancestors, to ask them to help you when there's a blockage in the road. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? When there's some junk baggage that I'm carrying on too. So I had to heal and I had to reconcile, okay, my understanding, what is being brought onto my shoulders, but that first had to deal with being, let's be real, just being forgiven,
Right.
offering forgiveness, forgiving myself, forgiving those who are within the church, forgiving those who I've come in contact with, because a lot of times, especially being in communities of color, whether Black, whether Latino, being in communities of color, as a person, as a woman of color, I've had to go into these churches, and yes, you will, and you have, when I say you will, I mean myself, but I'm probably, maybe I can speak for some of you guys as well, have experienced discrimination, have experienced, the whole, just a number of things, right, that are just a part of my story, but not who I am. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? It's only a part of what I've had to go through, and so, I forgave. I forgave. And one thing that I've learned is that, you know, you can be, and I believe I just had to get it into my mind, Apostle, you guys, that I had to get it into my mind that I could be as close to God as I wanted to be.
Hmm.
And so I said, you know what, maybe I don't go into the physical church, but you know what? There's this beautiful little Catholic church down the way, and it
Hmm.
has this little garden in there. Okay. And whether I get down on my knees or whether I call on and pray to the Virgin Mary, okay, whether I'm praying to the saints, I'm giving honor to God with every breath and with every, so I had to find just a different way to
Hmm.
connect, and in doing so, I realized that later on, I came, thank you. Later on, I came in contact with quite a few of those people that I've seen since then. And at the end of the day, my prayer is that however God chooses to use, however God chooses to operate,
Hmm.
that it'll speak for itself, and it's not something that I'm trying to do, or name that I'm trying to make for myself. But I just say, God, just operate how you choose to operate, right?
Hmm.
Flow and move how you choose to move under whatever title or whatever name. Okay, because sometimes God will use foolish things, right? He'll use
Right.
foolish things. He'll use uncommon things that are weird, peculiar, things that stick out, right? To
Right.
reach weird, unique, and peculiar people. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Different folks. God will use different people, like Apostle Ely. I have never come across, okay, let's say a servant, right?
Hmm.
Somebody who serves from not every minister, not every preacher, not every apostle is a
What you
servant.
say? You ain't
A
come
gen-
across nobody like me? Come on.
I have never come across an apostle that has, or minister, whether in the fivefold ministry or whatever, a minister that has that can say, you know what, I honor and I acknowledge uh, 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 my ancestral connection, my connection to those that have come before me, and I have concepts of spiritual workings and things of that
Hmm.
nature. But somebody believes in God and flows in this title and knows what it means to walk with the both of them. I've never seen that, and that was something
Wow.
that drew me to
Thank you.
that that drew me to you. I met a few who may have been open, but I was like, what a beautiful, beautiful work. I said, yes, God, right? All right,
He said, "Yes,
y'all are a
God."
part of, that this is what it's supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to be because, that encourages folk like me to know that, we're not that much different from each other.
No.
Awesome, you
One of
got
the
it.
things that and I want to say this because in order to manifest your true power and your manifestation of that power, you have to understand as a woman that you have like I see women do this and I think they're wrong for this. You're apologizing for your greatness. Like you don't realize that you have been trained to dumb your like I really want you to get that. It's like you always trying to make somebody feel comfortable. You know, if he a king, just like when Queen of Sheba came in to challenge Solomon's gift and to see if he was all that she had heard about, he just manifested himself. Good afternoon to you too, sweetie. But you got to think about this. When you're doing your spiritual work, that is the God in you expressing itself. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that women, that it's enough men. I know I'm not gonna be like Elijah, feeling like I'm the last one. God protect me because ain't nothing. I know there's some other men that are out here spiritual that understand that you have to start honoring that feminine energy because this is bringing
Yeah,
us into the place because we're in the age of Aquarius. It's time to think uniquely with your brain. Stop going by what somebody's structuring you to think. Because when somebody
ooh,
can control the way you think, they can control the way you move. You see what I'm saying?
let me
We are
find my edges.
rebellious for a
Let
reason.
me put my edges back intact. Let me
Yeah,
put my edges back intact. I
I am
love
so
it. I
like.
love it.
Yeah, I feel like the way that God gives it to me gives a person like you the opportunity to, without reservation, flow, without judgment, flow, without because if we want to see the power, we got to let each other be able to function in our authentic self. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You are a
Yes.
Cancer woman. You the moon, the grab that lunar energy, the gravitation.
Yes.
I'm feeling
Yes.
this. You could like, oh my God, like when we all get together, we done heard this in the church all our life, right? When the saints get together, what a time. When the
Unison.
real saints get together, when that feminine energy and that masculine energy get together and begin to manifest with an idea or with an emotion. Uh, so somebody with some foolishness. But let me tell you something. I want to encourage you, and we want to talk.
We march in, honey.
Yeah, we want to talk about mediumship because I want to, as you talk about what it is to be a medium. I'm going, I want to show them how that works even in the church. That because I want people to see the parallel. I want them to be able to see.
For sure.
And so therefore I
Okay.
want you to be able to communicate and talk what it is that happens when you are doing when the spirit is channeling through you as a medium. What is
Okay.
that like? What is
So,
going
okay. So, we believe that there are certain things, a lot of times, whether or not spirit can move, whether or not I'm at my table
on? Right.
doing a consultation, whether I'm in a spiritual mass, like one that you took place in, a spiritual gathering, right? Or
Right.
whether or not I'm inside of a local store. So when spirit is taking over you, um, it depends on what type of medium you are. There are different types of mediums, right? But
Right.
basically, what you are is being a channel for spirit. And what's
Mm-hmm.
happening is it's the same as somebody you ever seen somebody saying, "Okay, the Holy Spirit is coming to the room," right? And all of a sudden, this person, all of a sudden, is speaking. They went into almost like this trance. Like, yeah, have y'all seen things like that happening where there's been like
In
a
the
flowing
church,
of the
it
Holy Spirit?
happens.
And they
We
say,
call it slaying in the spirit.
there you
That's what.
go. It's just like that. A lot of times it can happen where you're channeling, meaning you're awake and you're alert. Okay, you're alert and your senses are awakened, but I'm looking at you, and all of a sudden, the spirit is whispering in my ear, or I'm seeing through my spiritual eyes. And as I'm seeing or as I'm hearing, I'm repeating the message that God, that my spirit guides, that the ego are giving for that person. And it's just a flowing, forth. And so it's coming through. Sometimes it comes through forcefully, sometimes it comes through very softly, right?
Mm.
Um, um, and what happens is that sometimes what happens is it depends on who's speaking and why. At times, it may be a deceased relative, a loved one. At times, it could be somebody you're connected with. It could be, just bringing an important message. It could be, it's not always necessarily your spirit guide. Sometimes it can be a lost spirit, or it could be a spirit that is a lower level spirit. When we say lower level spirit, we call it the lower level spirit. You guys call it the demonic, right? It's the
Right.
same thing, right? It's the same thing.
Lower
What we say
vibration.
is, yes, a lower vibration, right, right. And what happens is that I may feel some wind on the back of my neck, right?
Right.
I may feel a sensation, and I may feel like a cramping in my hand or so, or like a pressing, and that's a channel. That's my
It
calling
happens with
card.
me. Yeah.
Yes, that's a calling card to let you know that your spirit guide say, okay, it's on, something's going on, right? And I may either be feeling this for the person, or this may be my calling card for one of my spirit guides that says it's time. You need to release that message, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something that needs to go on through. Depending on what setting it is, we'll start and we'll open up with prayer. We'll open
Right.
up with prayer so that way we can kind of set an atmosphere. What I do personally in mediumship is a lot of times you guys will see me with, oh, where is this thing, how can I show it to you guys? No, I don't want to press that, I'll press the wrong button. But I have candle and water, right? Candle
Right.
and water, a lot of,
Okay.
okay. As a medium, a lot of times with candle and water we say that you can resolve a lot. Why? Because candle gives light to spirit. It gives
I got you.
yes, I love it. Candle gives light to spirit, candle gives light to spirit. Okay, all right. And water is to refresh those spirits. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
so a lot of times when we're doing this,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get impressions, you may get sensations, you may see, you may hear, you may not, you may sense, or you may just feel, or you may know that you know that you know that you know, right? That
Right.
sounds like something we've experienced, right?
We've been hearing all
So
our life, but they really don't know that they know that they know. They just say it.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly. And medium,
Don't lose your thought. Don't lose your thought. I want to say
you
this
got it.
because I got some people coming in here because this actually probably done went a little further than went. Let me say this. Do not come in trying to challenge what is being said here. If you have not healed the sick like I have, if you have not raised the dead like I have, if you have not cast out devils like I have, if you have not traveled like I have, don't come and telling me about a religion that has enslaved millions of people for the namesake of Jesus. Okay? First of all, let's understand who the real Christianity came from Egypt. That's it's symbolism and it's astrology. That's what the Bible is. Because you lack understanding, you're around here trying to judge people because you do not know the truth. And that's okay to be ignorant. We ain't mad with you because you're ignorant. We're upset with you because you're rude. Because you can
And
disagree
can
and
I
not
say
be
something?
rude. Go ahead, sweetie.
That's right. It's okay. It's okay not to believe. I'm not asking you or anybody who's watching this, because I can't see everybody that you can see. But I'm not asking you to believe as I believe. I'm not asking you to change your faith, your spiritual practice, your beliefs, your mindset, your concept. Whatever you believe in, you don't have to believe as I believe to know that we're all a part of one, honey, whether or not you're here. A medium exists, whether you want to believe it or not, in church. A medium existed within the States, in
Mhm.
Asia, in Egypt, and Africa, in China, and in the middle of the tropical forests. Okay,
Mhm.
there are different mediums, and there has always existed mediums, right? All it is that it means that we were born. It's like exercising a muscle, right?
Right.
You are in every message, baby, every message,
Mhm.
every
Every
message.
message.
In order for you
Because
to
that's what a
feel,
medium is.
in order,
You deliver messages. Who else deliver?
yes, that's it.
Angels
That's
deliver
it.
messages. Ancestors deliver
That's
messages.
it.
Demons deliver
Come
messages.
on.
Everything
Come
that
on,
is
come on.
spirit delivers a message. What you want to, which
That's
report you gonna
that's
believe? That's on you.
there we go. So you have to use wisdom and discernment and have the understanding to know what you're tapping into and who you're tapping into. That's why there's a way that we go about doing certain things. You know what I'm saying? We don't just wake up one day and decide. No, there's
Mhm.
training, there's understanding, there is there's preparation, right? There, nobody's susceptible. Okay, the same way you call, and it does not mean that a medium, just because you've looked at one verse, because for many years we've used scripture and Bible verses to condemn or to try to bring down people because of our understanding. When if somebody can see, who was the one that appeared to Jesus? Who was the one that appeared to Jesus after he was already gone? He was already
Oh, that
gone,
was
and he had
Moses and
appeared to Jesus.
Elijah on the Mount Transfiguration. He was Moses and
Okay,
Elijah appeared. Let's not only that. When Elijah healed the young boy, his soul returned. If there's no life after death, then how can his soul enter back into his body? Say that because
there
I
you go.
got to interject in here to make sure that people get an understanding. You can't trip anybody up because you lack wisdom. See, I'm not
That's true.
new to this. I'm true to this. I've been doing this a long time. Okay, what I want you to understand. Religion has been constructed like training wheels. If you're trying to operate in what we call God, remember God is more than just his name. God is something, the names like we say El Shaddai, we say Elohim, we say Jehovah Jireh, Yahshua. These are attributes, these are
Alofi.
adjectives describing energy. Are y'all hearing me?
That's
That
right.
is right now. I can say, hey, Gabby. I can say, hey, Seer. I can say, hey, friend. You're going to still respond, but depending on what kind of
Is
adjective I use, you're going to respond in a certain type of way. So when we call it on
That's
energy,
right.
whether we call it Ogun, whether we call it Eligwa, or whether we call it Oshun, we call it on energy. But we are striving adjectives, and the energy knows you calling it. When we say love, when we say peace, when we say prosperity, when we say healing, it responds to us. We may call it a different thing, but it understands that you still talking to it. You know, you call me by my
That's
nickname,
it.
I'm gonna respond. When my child call me daddy, I'm gonna respond. When they say, "Hey, you UPS man," I turn around because you're talking to me. That describes me. That don't mean that's the
That's right.
totality of who I am. Don't think under. Make sure that you guys are commenting. Make sure you got a better understanding that there is no box to put this power in. It created heaven and earth, the universe. All right, go ahead, sis. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. No, no, no. That was needed. Very well said. And listen, one thing that I would love to say here is that a lot of times people can give you. They're only going to show you.
Mm-hmm.
You can only see someone from the on a surface level. You know what I'm saying? Depending on, you can only see a certain person or no person too. God is the only person. Once again, we're talking about great source. We're talking about divine spirit. Whether you say Sambi, whether you say Alofi, Olodumare, Papa Bonye, we're talking great spirit. Okay, whatever name. How many? All it is a switch up of a name. There's no need to. Uh,
Bebasa.
um, there's no need to do anything that's done in a. We have to be careful about remembering that this is the whole purpose of this is doing this in a spirit of love, right? Is
Right.
to build and create. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, God is the only one that's coming in and that can discern the hearts of man, right? He looks on through discerning the hearts. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Listen, baby. At the end of the day, I'm a medium through and through. That's what I was born to do. Okay, I'm a spiritist. That's what I was born to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the same way, regardless of whether or not I'm in the four walls or outside of it, I'm no better, I'm no less, nor are you, and nor is anybody else watching this line. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, mediums pray too. Not all mediums, not all. You got some mediums who operate a little different. You have many different types of mediums, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like I said again, I don't want to make this about um, various different biblical scriptures and debates, things of that nature, because that's not what I'm here to do. That's not
Mm-hmm.
my energy. I don't have time for it. We didn't come here to do it. And I just that you see our heart in this, right? And that you see my heart in this. That's not why I'm here, right? So and it's okay to disagree. It's okay to not to believe in certain things. that is okay. That is just who you are, right? That,
But it's
that's
not okay
okay.
to
There's nothing.
interfere. It's okay to
Yes.
disbelieve. It's okay to not practice, but you don't have to engage. In Christian church, they have been taught to be rude. They have taught to be invasive.
You better
That's
speak about
improper.
it. That's right. And do all kinds of unspeakable hells and foolery in the name of God. And
Mhm.
what would they call it? I'm telling you in love. I'm doing it in love. They could beat you down and do
Oh,
everything to you as long as I'm telling it to you in love. You know what I'm saying? That
well,
hypocrisy,
let
that
me
spirit.
respond to you in love, kind.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. There you go. That little that but a lot of people don't realize that just because you can't see them, they've been manifesting there. And these are spirits that y'all have been around them all along. You got spirits of Pharisees, you got the spirits of Sadducees, you got all kind of spirits that you're carrying within yourself, that make you act like that. That makes you act like that. Okay, and I think that was one of the things that I had to strip out of myself, okay? Because the spirits, your own spirit guys, your ancestors, they can't get through to you or get through to anybody else. If you're carrying a lot of ego and pride on your shoulders, they can't get through to nobody. They can't work with nobody like this. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
so that's another thing we have to constantly check. Apostle, so that I don't deviate here. As a medium, we have to constantly be we're taking spiritual baths that cleanse our spiritual energy, our auras, right?
Right.
As a medium, what can I tell you? We have the collected book of prayers, right?
Mhm.
Which a lot of them are prayers that you would find, not all, but some of them you would find, that are biblical or has like a biblical, concept, but it is not spiritism is not a religion.
Right.
Spiritism is a path. Okay, it's a
It's
path,
a
right?
practice. It's a
And a practice. Yes. Yes. Apostle, you wanna chime in on
Yeah,
here?
because I want them to understand, like, because those that in my church, that sometimes when spirit is moving through me, and say for instance, somebody may have a back pain, I would literally feel it in my body. I was like, oh my God, somebody here got a back pain or certain areas of their body or their neck. Or if I'm praying for somebody, I'll be able to pick up on the particular area or what's going on with them. This is why when somebody has the structure of medium, they're a channel. You know what I'm saying? And then the spirit utilizes their own personal senses. So basically, when you as a woman, when you walk in your house, you say, something don't feel right. Even when he talking to you,
Your
that's
intuition.
channeling. That's channeling.
Your
When your kids are saying
Mhm.
something to you, and you weren't even there, but you know they lying, that's channeling because that's spirit. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Apostle, we do the same thing, the same exact thing. I've had whether you're in person or
Mm-hmm.
whether or not you're behind the camera. All of a sudden, sometimes I can feel pain for a person or
Mm-hmm.
feel an emotion for a person that's not mine, right?
Right.
That I'm carrying, and a lot of times, that's the way that the spirits are moving, right? And so we both channel the same way on through.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that some people channeling from angelic with the angelic
Right.
realm. Some, I believe personally as a medium, not all mediums believe this, and that's okay. I believe that that every message, all messages come from divine source, right? But then we do have our ancestors. You have your spirit guides. We all have a spiritual team, right? And
Right.
so this is not just random spirits either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In mediumship, we're usually working from, you know, we're usually working within,
Right.
there are spirits that we're born with,
Mm-hmm.
as we believe in spiritism, right? So
Right.
um I think at the end of the day, that's where it's going. We channel, we just do it in different ways, right? We all are using our spiritual senses as mediums. I use my, you'll smell something in the spirit,
Mm-hmm.
that gives you a direction. You see, you'll hear, you'll sense it,
My
you'll
saints
feel
know
it,
that.
right?
Sometimes I'm doing work for them, and they'll smell the aroma of my oil. Like I have certain things I wear on me, and it's like, oh, you look
Uh-huh.
like I could smell you. Like my spirit carries an aroma when it walks in
There
there.
you go.
It's this. I want to constantly tie this into the stuff that everybody do every day that they don't think that they're channeling when they are. You thinking about somebody and they
Okay.
call on the phone. That's channeling. That's channeling.
That is. What's up? What's another very basic one? Um, all of a sudden, for example, I'll give you a very simple example. Sometimes I've got these messages where all of a sudden I felt some sort of inkling in me. I feel a
Mm-hmm.
sensation in my spirit tell me, Gabby, um, you might don't go down that road. You know, don't
Mm-hmm.
take the regular road, the regular route we take to work. You need to go in a different direction, right? You know,
Absolutely.
that spirit. You know, and bam, the next day you find out that there was a car crash right around the same time that you were going to leave and go down that direction of that road. I just know that Mama, did you check on my little brother? You know, did you check
Mm.
on Clarence because I just had this weird feeling that he's
Mm.
in trouble. You know what I
That's
mean?
channeling.
I got this weird feeling he's in trouble, and you guys need to go and find out. You know, or I'm just pacing back and forth, and I'm saying, you know what? Sometimes I've looked at somebody, and I remember there was a young lady who sat in the chair, right? And you guys probably do this too. Um, she says, "Nah, there ain't nothing wrong. You know, it ain't that bad." And all of a sudden, y'all ever got that little vibe on top of you?
Mm-hmm.
That little vibe, like she full of it. Tell her she
Yeah.
full of it.
That's channeling.
Tell her
That's
she lying.
information coming
That's
in.
channeling. That's channeling.
Like
Okay, and
Brother
you
John
guys do
said,
this.
that sounds like intuition to me. Yep.
There you. We do the same thing. Same thing.
I want to. I also like you brought up a little earlier about you using the water, right? Because I
Hmm.
want all y'all guys, especially if you're in the church world, you in the Christian faith, I want you to listen to this because I'm gonna break it down so you can see you're doing the exact same thing. You're she's using water on the outside to channel, right? But you do the same thing because you're 75% water. It doesn't matter if you're using the element inside or outside. That's why everything starts
Right.
with us. It's just that we
Powerful.
using things outside of ourselves to reflect things that are within. Remember, the kingdom is within you. So your
That's
body
all.
is designed to channel. Your body is designed for spirit to come through. But we do it,
That's right.
but we may not do it the way that other people do it, but it's the same thing.
And one of the biggest things is sometimes I don't have it, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes I don't have it and I may just light a candle, right? But when you have, let me tell you something. I love there's something about this little thing of water. The
Right,
old
brother
school
Mario.
spirits.
Real healing, same thing.
Yes, same thing, baby, same thing. And I used to have, have like, my little candles.
Hmm.
A lot of times I'll go over there and I'll go and light my candle to Saint Michael. You know, and I'll have him come
Right,
on in and and I'll call on for example, like I go and I'm a person who believes in like the Psalms. You know, I'm
right.
big on that. I believe in things like that. You know, I believe that
I believe I can
angelic.
fly. They got a nerve to have a problem with you, but they believe in R. Kelly. I believe I can touch the sky. Think about
And you
it
know what?
every night and day.
Go ahead.
Spread my
Hey,
wings and fly away. People are tripping, ain't they?
you know what? But it's okay because you know something about listen. It's okay because the reason why I can understand them. I can't see their comments. I can't see it. Maybe
Oh,
because it's
I
on your
got you.
end.
I got you.
But and that's a beautiful thing. That's probably a beautiful. That's probably a beautiful thing that I can't see it, right? And I've learned that. See, that's how I know we were family, honey. I got
See that?
the same one. I have the same one. Yes, yes. Okay. We've
All
been
right
reading these
now.
Psalms all our life. All our life. We've been reading them all our life,
Yeah. And
And
you
I'm
know
like,
what? And let me tell y'all something to help some of you guys that don't think you do this. Just because you didn't read it, your grandma still gave it to you. She still gave you the scripture. It doesn't matter that you didn't go buy the book, pick up the book. And most of us still know about Psalm 91. Oh, read that for protection. Who told you that? Because it sure don't say it in the Bible.
or to
But
release
who told you that? Psalm 21.
the
Oh, girl, you need to read Psalm 23. Oh, girl, how you know what that meant for? Because it's not written down in the Bible like that. So somebody gave
that's
you the
right.
information.
Come on. You don't
Yes, that's that
realize that you
Scorpio
guys have been
energy in
doing
me. That's that Scorpio. I'm an investigator. See, a lot of times you got to pull the wool off of people
it.
because they think they're doing something different because they want to say, let me tell
Yeah.
you something. The Catholic Church burned candles in there. The Catholic Church burned frankincense and myrrh.
Yes, they
What
do.
our people got to understand is it's only evil because you associate my skin complexion with evil. Because if a white man or somebody was doing the same thing, you wouldn't have a problem with it. Because right now you will go to the Catholic Church and get you some holy water. What makes them holy? What makes their water? Thank you so much for the roses and stuff. What makes what they doing so much better than or different than what I'm doing? When we go to the River Jordan versus going out the river and baptizing, saying that you're talking to Oshun or you talking to Yemiya, what's the
It's
difference?
the same. It's the same. It's the same thing because we work with the elements, right? The same way you guys, may get up and you say, I bet a lot of you guys, I bet a lot of you, some of you who say, I don't believe in any of that stuff, I bet a lot of you guys have have taken hyssop water, have taken hyssop, right? The plant, the herb,
Mm-hmm.
and you've either boiled it. I bet a lot of you guys have taken herbs to drink them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we give herbs
It's
for
still
people to
the
drink
same
for them to
thing.
get
It's
better.
still the same
It's the
thing.
same thing. Okay, but how many of you guys have used, let's say, mint or something of that nature, whatnot, to open up your airways? How about we take this mint and we take this water, and a lot of times we will get an egg and we'll dress it and we'll cleanse. You know what I'm saying? Or we'll give
Mm-hmm.
it to the person. They boil the mint and that they drink it. You see what I'm saying? We'll do prayers. A lot of times we use holy water.
Mm-hmm.
We use these same things that you guys see. We'll prepare certain spiritual baths that are prayed over, that are consecrated. The same things you guys are
What,
doing. The same way you take
Gabby,
oil.
they have the baptismal pool right in the church. Like the hypocrisy of that. Like, what do you think the water coming? What do you think the whole symbology is? What's the point? Like, think about. Could you explain to them that olive oil comes from a tree, the same way,
It
the same way frankincense
it
come
does.
from a tree, the same way dragon bloods come from a tree. Like, what do you think you're doing? But because you're not putting a certain adjective or a label to it, you think you're doing
It's the
something vastly
same.
different, and
It's,
you're
it's the
doing the exact same thing.
uh, let me show you something. Let me show you something. I'm not gonna tell you his name because you guys will know him. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you guys his name. Okay, but this came from out of respect. But this was given to me some time ago. Y'all know what this
Mhm.
is, right?
Right. I
This
know
was given
exactly
to
what
me
that is.
some time ago. Prayed over. Apostle, tell them what you just tell the people who may not know some of my people what it is.
Let me tell you that this is the Star of David. This is the hexagram. Okay.
Okay,
Now
it's
this is magnetic. This is electric energy because this is different than the pinnacle. The pinnacle is the I mean not the pinnacle. The pentagram is magnetic energy.
that's right,
The hexagram, what she
right.
has right there, is electric energy, which is a masculine energy. So
And
this is because I rented out my house a couple of days ago, and I had that hanging up in the back room of in the house. I just took it out. I
uh-huh.
actually got it in front of my house, hanging off of one of my lights right now. It's a matter of fact. Go ahead and talk about that, and I'll be right back just to show them that Gabby ain't the only
You
one.
got it.
All right, I'll be right back. Ain't gonna take long.
You guys, let me tell you something. Hi, babies. I can't see you guys, but I'm sending y'all my love. I can't see y'all on Apostle Ely's side, but I'm sending you my love. Listen, this was given to me by a famous Pentecostal, well, a very, I would say he's pretty famous, pretty well known, Pentecostal minister, right? And he told me, that you're going to take this and to get some things to be loosed in your life, as well as to bring protection in your life. Okay, I want you to take this. I prayed over this. It's been consecrated. He's dressed it with oils. And I want you to carry this with you. Okay, you're going to carry this with you for a certain amount of time. For a certain amount of time, right? I'm a medium now. Okay, look what he has. Look what he has. All right. Now, if you see me with it, you'll think it's demonic. All right. I guarantee you, he ain't doing this to cast no spells. No, he ain't doing it to cast no spells. Symbolic is what you. It's what do you
What
perceive it
you
as? It's
will
only
it to
because you've
be.
been taught that.
What you will it to be. When you
Yes, yes.
and
This
this
has
is
been a
and
source of
this is
protection.
geometry. This is the circle. See how I had the circle? This is and when you guys are talking about eight infinite, the circle is infinite, ongoing. When it's
Hmm.
talking about continuation of blessing, the energy flows in a circle. And then you got the triangle, the womb. This represents the womb. Remember,
The
and when you
element.
look
Yeah.
down at the center
Yeah.
of the earth, it's shaped like a what? A triangle.
That's right.
This is all geometry.
That's right.
When you go to school, learn geometry, this is what this is. But if you understand the energy, because everything is energy, and once it's been consecrated and blessed, like this right here is so hot. Like when I consecrate, but it's like when you consecrate these and this energy goes moving. But I had this outside hanging up. But I just want y'all to know, ain't nothing new under the sun.
Yes,
Nothing.
that's right. That's right. And this is symbolic. You know what I'm saying? It's symbolic. Okay, you saw just the same way he had the book of Psalms. I have the book of Psalms, right? And if he has the book of Psalms, all right, and this is biblical, we ain't that different. We're not that
We're
different. I'm
not
telling you, the
different.
same thing you guys do
We
all
just
the
function
time.
differently.
When you look up there, that's it. In some churches, let's be honest, in all spiritual circles that I've went into, almost always you can always find a candle being lit. It's just the purpose. It's the purpose that you assign to it. You know what I'm saying? That makes it evil. It's only evil if you decide for it to be evil, right? And let's not even not everything in the spirit world is necessarily light either. That's what a lot of people fail to realize. That not everything is light.
I'm gonna do like we do in the class. Can I this is
Got
listen
it. You
in Isaiah, in the book of Isaiah, he said, I the Lord God do all this, I do evil. It's right in the scripture. Like there is no such thing as good and evil. It is God.
got it.
Nature is
That's
not
it.
good or evil, it's energy.
That's it.
But my point is, let me use an example. If you get the job, you call it a blessing, right? But the person you did the work and asked God to give you the job, and you go around church and say, "Oh, thank you, Jesus, God granted me the job." But in order for you to get the job, somebody had to not get the job. So they're gonna say it's
Come
evil.
on.
Are you
Come
understanding?
on.
You and the woman going after the same man, you pray to God and God grant you the man. You call it a blessing. But the woman that didn't get the man, call it a curse.
He called it a curse. Come on.
So it's about
That's it.
perception. The only reason why you say you blessed because you getting what you want. The moment you ain't getting what you want,
That's
you feel like you've been cursed. You feel like you've been hexed or jinxed.
Apostle. Can I say something here? Let me tell you
You can
something.
say
The
something.
same
Come
way.
on.
Yes, honey. You guys have healing sessions, right? You guys, well, we call them healing sessions, right? We call them
Mm-hmm.
sessions where we believe in the laying on of hands, where the spirits come through and
Mm-hmm.
the good spirits come. Okay, the good spirits come through through the spirit guides that walk with us. The laying on of hands, right? The transmitting of energy, so that a person receives healing. In connection with some certain spiritual tools, but we use prayer. We use the laying of hands. If I'm not mistaken, you guys also call on the power of the Holy Spirit. You
Right.
guys do the laying on of hands, right? As well
We lay
too.
hands and we
You know what
talk
I'm
about the
saying?
virtue. We talk about Jesus' virtue leaving his body to heal the woman with the issue of blood. That's
Yeah.
when we say virtue, we're still talking about energy.
And yes, and the same thing happened over here because I've had clients who have had that same issue, who have had that exact issue. Okay, and then not only that, but there are there are there are those who have come to me who have been plagued by what we call a causa or a
Mm-hmm.
cause, a spiritual parasite, what you guys call a lower level, what we call a lower level spirit, what you guys call a demonic spirit. Same thing. Okay,
Vampiric.
I know that I can see a person and say that this spirit does not abide in this body. This spirit should not be tormenting this child. This spirit should not be tormenting this woman. This spirit has no point here. So we have to educate, and we're going to elevate that spirit. We're going to work that spirit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what type of spirit it's either going to come out, not by causing bodily harm, but it's going to come out forcefully in spirit, right? Okay,
Right.
you guys are using it's going to come out one way or another, right?
Right.
Okay, and the same guys believe in unclean. They call them unclean spirits, right? Or they
And
call them,
casting
look,
out spirit. Same thing.
casting out.
Casting
We
out,
do
driving
the
out
same.
unclean spirit. Same thing.
We do the same thing. Same thing, baby. We do the same thing. The same thing.
I'm gonna tell you what.
Same
I'm
exact.
gonna tell you now. We do it in my church, but and you do it. But what you don't see in most churches is the cleansing part. Like when you cast spirits out, you cast these energies out, you're driving out these sickness or poverty. What if somebody going and you don't cleanse your church? You don't go and sage it, smoke it, whatever you do. In our church, we do it. Now that's something you do as a medium. But a lot of people
Yes.
they get into warfare or they're trying to cast out certain energies, and what they're not doing the cleansing part. And after a while, over a period of time, that energy builds up and they start having problems.
That's true. That's true because you have to cleanse the energy of your space, your physical space where you live. What happens is that when these spirits are removed or when they leave on their own,
Mm,
depending on, remember, it depends on how long that energy has been there, to what degree it's tormenting that person.
right.
And then we believe, just like you guys believe, I'm going to show you guys something else. There were certain things that a person comes to me that I can't help with. Why? Because
Mm,
this person, this was something that was done and was designed by spirit. This person came
right.
in to this life
Sovereignty.
with these with
Meant to
these
be.
issues.
When
Okay,
Paul
there.
said, the Bible said, I'm gonna give you an example. Paul went to God 3 times to remove a thorn from his side in the Bible. And he said, no, my grace is sufficient for you. There are certain things prayer will not move because it was purpose for you to go through. But as you show them that,
That's
we got a question
right.
up here that say, how do I protect myself when you're casting out those unclean spirits? What could somebody use to protect themselves when that is going on?
Okay, so because you are in the spirit, because you are within the church, honey. Okay, you got one or two options, right? All right. Here's something that I always do before, and this is me as a medium, but I'm going to show you what you guys could do within the church as well too. I don't have it. Oh, I do have it. I do have it. I'm gonna show you. You see that?
Go yeah.
You see that?
Yes.
Olive oil. Okay? You're going to take just a pinch of it. And I don't know. Maybe you do the same thing too, Apostle. I make the sign of the cross on one wrist,
Mhm.
on the other wrist, behind my neck, and I make the sign of the cross underneath both of my feet.
Give me that
Okay? Why?
category. We
Why?
see like
Because
as you say you ain't never met we sang a song in my church, I don't know now preacher, that's me. But we do a little different.
hey,
Yeah, I don't know now preacher. That do the things I do, that teach like I
hey,
do, that speak like I do. Cascaria. I had it over there.
yeah,
But
white
I like
eggshell powder.
yeah, yeah, it's extra. But in our church, I have a where I have the cauldron over on the left hand side of the church. So I have certain things set up. I have the Palo Santo over there. I have Caskia. I have different things that I have set up, and then I have a spray that I spray down everybody in my church. That
I
cleanse. I
love it.
cleanse.
We do that too.
Yeah,
We do that
I do
too.
it. But this is something like if you go basically to a church, this is you can get this from any botanical. You can order. Me personally, I have friends like I make a lot of my products, but then I have a friend of mine. He makes his own, him and his wife. So I go to his botanica and get the
Uh,
cascarilla from him. But
beautiful.
and
Beautiful.
it rubs right in. Look at
Perfect.
this, y'all.
Yeah. Yes.
You see
Yes.
that?
I
And
love
that
that.
you protect
I
it.
love that.
But I
I
consecrate
love that.
this. I pray over this is I pray over this. This is no different than you would pray over olive oil or anything, but cascarilla is excellent.
That
Um Cover the bottom of your feet, your hands. Remember, it's like she's saying, it's energy. You just don't get the product and just put it on. No, you make sure if you're not in a
you
place
pray
with
over
somebody
it.
that you trust to pray over that, bless it and consecrate it, and then you utilize that.
Another thing you guys can use is to protect yourself when you're going to cast some things out, baby. Florida water, Florida water. You can mix Florida water. Tobacco water is really good too. Tobacco water, right there, right there. Before you even get into the church, we pass it on the back of our neck because that is where lower level spirits like to jump in from. You pass it from the back of your neck, right? I go like this. Take a little bit, pass it here. I'll smell it. I'll take
Now,
it.
while she's doing that, some of you guys see her smoking, right? That's tobacco. Apostle used tobacco as well. That's grind tobacco. Tobacco is ruled by Mars. It removes negative energy. So a lot of things you guys think people are doing something different. They're really not doing nothing different. They may call it something else,
And
but I use tobacco in a lot of my products to feed my ancestors. I use tobacco to feed the spirit in the church. I use tobacco to remove negativity, negative thoughts, jealousy. Tobacco you can use for a lot of stuff. It's energy. It's ruled by Mars. It's really strong.
yes,
Um, the more raw that tobacco is, the stronger the energy, and it allows the spirits to because they just take the energy from it. So that's when you talk about protection, there's a lot of different ways. But what I
yes,
do tell people because she's in a place, I'm in a place. if you're trying to learn and develop, I just do not believe it's smart to do your own protection work until you get to a place that you are strong enough. It's no different than your kids leaving the house until they actually learn how to take care of themselves. You know, you don't
That's true.
you're not in enough you have not been in worked out enough, I'll say it like that. You have not developed enough to be trying to protect yourself
Develop.
on such a level. It just, to me, that's no
It's
wisdom.
important.
You need a good teacher.
Yes, yes. And so you guys, one step at a time, one step at a time, because I'm telling you, yes, you will encounter certain stuff out there. Shirley also said something really beautiful. She says, and this is another thing you'll see. You'll get the scarf, right? For example, this scarf is one of them that I work with. This has been consecrated in oils,
Mhm.
holy water, things of nature. Before I come in with a client, I'll go and I'll take and I'll wrap my head up, right? I'll take and I'll wrap my head up.
Let's get my red
I'll
stripe.
mark my body.
My
I'll
red stripe.
cleanse the area, right? But you got to be careful. Red or white, right, is what we use, right? Red or white. And there's a reason behind. There's a reason why. But you have to be careful because those spirits will tear you. There you go.
We read it.
All
We
right.
read it.
The red symbolizes what? The blood for you, right? And it can symbolize the blood for me as
And
well too.
I
And it can also
actually, to be
symbolize
honest, I use
the
this is the
Congo
root chakra. This is Shango. This could be Ogun. You know, this is
or the
I.
Congo spirit.
I
The
understand
connection of
how
the
it ties
Congo.
in, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it could. So for me, it represents the Congo spirits, the Congo Commission, which is a group of spirits.
Mhm.
We use red or white. See, we're not that different. We're not that different. I'll take it here, smell it, pass it through the back, pass it over my head without touching my head, over my head, and I shake. That's how you remove and
And now
you
you
cleanse
guys
yourself.
just seen what she did when she was doing all that. How many times you been in church when people say they got the Holy Spirit, they start doing like this? Huh? They start doing
There
like
you
this.
go.
Be like, ah! And they be like, they don't even realize their spirit is removing
It's
negativity.
mounting them, and it's mounting
And they
them.
start
Okay,
shaking
your
and doing like that.
ancestors.
We all done seen that. See what
Okay.
I'm saying? It's
It is.
happening right in front of you. You just don't know how to name it. Like the clock says that name
That's
it and
it.
claim it.
Paul Apostle, don't make me snap. Let me tell you something. This wig, luckily, is gone. This hair is on good. Okay, all right, because you better be lucky we ain't in the
Yes, baby. I told you,
honey. Let me tell you something.
clarity is such a powerful thing. The lack of communication, the lack of conversation, the lack of understanding, not going ego tripping. That when you saying all you're getting, get understand. Like we are really trying to help. We are really trying to be a blessing
Yeah,
without the judgment.
yeah,
Without the judgment.
yeah. And that's my prayer, and I believe that that's being done. I believe that that's being done, and I believe that there's some who need to hear it, who need to hear
Mhm.
you, Apostle, on this side where I am, and some
Uh-huh.
from your side who may be able to receive something from here. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I hope that it can bridge the gap where you see that there really is no gaps. That y'all are doing the same things, just like what we call white table spiritism.
Right.
You guys in sectors of like the charismatic areas of the church, that is spiritism. It's the same thing because the same moment you notice, one moment you see me here and I'm just talking to you, hey, how you doing? And
Right.
next moment the spirit came to me, right? And that's
And
the
we said it.
you
We
guys
do it
said,
to each other. Ah, sha. My God.
yep,
That's what we do.
and then it just
Same
catches
thing.
on.
We a jerk.
Yeah,
Oh, I felt
yeah,
that.
that's it. That's it.
We do the
That's
same
it.
thing
I'll go through.
because we're all
Mhm.
connected. We're all connected.
That's it. We
One of the
are.
things that I want to say this to you. I really appreciate you giving us this time, sharing your spirituality, sharing your journey in the spirituality, whether the tabernacle was a church or shrine, that you were open enough, you were brave enough to continue your journey. You did not allow the lack of information, the lack of exposure to hinder your growth. I I I I, I applaud you for that. Also, I want to encourage you to know that you got a home in apostolic faith. And I pay the cost
I
to
know.
be the boss there. Um,
Yes.
I understand who you are. I understand what you bring to the table. I My members are very open people. I teach. You know, there ignorance does not thrive around me. I shine a lot of light with knowledge. When you're trying to grow and develop, I don't feel like you should have to run away from what you're comfortable. You should be able to grow in your space. Like right now, I'm on some acreage of land. When I want to add my pool to my house, I don't need to move to add a pool. You shouldn't have to
That's right.
move to grow. If you're in a space where you can't even grow, then that's not the space for you. You should be able to add on your growth. Our friendship should be able to grow. Our connection should be able
That's
to
right.
grow without me
Right.
restricting you.
That's right.
You know,
And that doesn't compromise. That doesn't compromise and doesn't have to change. My beliefs does not have to change anything you believe in. You know, that's what it's all supposed to be about. You know, I have friends who I have one honey who is a Satanist. Okay,
right.
and that is not my path, but that's her path. Okay, and although I don't, and we're from two opposite sides of the fence,
Mm.
that's her side of the fence. And I honor who she is as a person instead of not so much as, and I can see outside of what it is that she believes to know that she's somebody in this earth who
Mm.
also needs love is where we're supposed to be flowing from, if that makes sense. I have one who
Honey, I don't. Let me
who
tell you
practices.
something. I don't. Me. This is on the real. This is apostle. I can't speak for nobody else. I don't care if you're a midget. I don't care. I don't judge people. I don't care if you. Listen, if I'm gonna say that I believe that God is the creator of everything, that's what that means. And whatever path you choose, you have to look at spirituality like seasoning. You might not want spicy food. You might not. You might want, because me, I don't eat necessarily. But guess what? When you go to the buffet, you don't necessarily have to eat everything on the buffet. But you can also throw
That's true.
everything on the buffet out because you don't eat it.
That's true.
Everybody
That's
don't want to
true.
go to college. Everybody don't want a big house. Everybody don't want to be married. That's fine. But what you don't have a right to do is inflict your desires or your opinions on other people.
And this is something that we all have had to learn in this journey by being mature spiritualists. You know, whether you are ministers, whether you are shamans, whether you are healers, you know, learning
Yes,
that
God.
everything flows passion, from love, from integrity, from a place of being transparent, being real about who you are, but in the same sense knowing that we are not that much different. And in order for all of us, there's people that I can never reach, that there
Right.
will take other people to be able to connect with, people that just won't. And maybe there'll be people who will be able to connect with me, right? But not everybody. Everybody is not
Maybe
going to
not at
ride
this
with me, and that's
time.
okay.
Not maybe not at this time, but
Maybe
tomorrow.
that's not. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
you might not be
Maybe
ready
not at this
today.
time. But, you know, and it didn't come overnight. Um, as you see, you know, it doesn't mean that I've lost. It doesn't mean that, you know, there's certain belief sets that have just changed, you know,
Mm.
altogether, because it doesn't work like that, right? It doesn't mean that I have to go. I never let nobody go and tell me, oh, well, you need to leave, because you know you have people who say, I'm gonna be real. I'm not talking about for everybody, just
Right,
only in my personal experience. Well, you need to leave that stuff behind because that's what comes from the man. Y'all know what I'm trying to say, right?
right,
That's what comes
right.
from the man. You need to leave that stuff behind and follow your motherland and your mother's,
Mm.
you know, the religion of your descendants and such and such and such.
Right.
But that is not everybody's path either. Some people were just meant to go.
I'm
Some
gonna say
people were just meant to.
I'm gonna say it like this. Just because you graduate from kindergarten don't mean you ain't gonna need what you learned in kindergarten to go to first grade. It is all a building process. If there was no such thing as destiny, then it wasn't meant for you to go to that direction. The problem is
That's right.
that there are people that you might have to go back to kindergarten and help. So
That's
telling me
right.
to throw away, the reason why I'm able to relate to so many people is because of the things that I have gone through. So if I had thrown away, that's what I tell people in my church. Like come and say, wait a minute, I ain't trying to get rid of you. I'm trying to help you find you. Oh, I know I got to get rid. No,
That's
no, no, no. See, that's what your problem is. You think it's about decreasing you. I am trying to increase you. What you are increased in is other people's opinions, suggestions, and their visions of you. I'm trying to increase you to what you were designed to do. So you can
that's
be
right.
Gabby, the seer to me. You hear me? You're gonna be. That's how I receive. You hear me?
Oh, you gotta know, baby, all day,
Honey,
every day,
I'm accepting.
every
I'm
day.
accepting that Cancerian energy. I'm talking about that moon,
The-
the gravitational pull.
and that's who, listen, and that's who I am. That's who I am. That's who I am. What we call a curandera, a healer, okay?
Hmm.
Or some people call it a medicine woman, okay?
Right.
I'm a medium. who I am with no shame. I own everything that I am. All
I'm gonna
right, you
really
guys, I'm
appreciate it.
proud of everything that I am, everything, and I make no apologies about it. You know, I'm thankful for every gift that is under operation. You know, that's been given to me by the spirits. I believe in the leading of my spirit guides, of my ancestors, of the Egun that walks with me. That's who I am, baby. Okay. Now I might coming around, you know, at times depending on the person. Out of respect into certain spaces, I might call it something different, but we don't want to make mistakes about it, okay? You
Right,
go float and you look through all of the videos, you may see some spiritual work going on because that's what we do as well too,
right.
okay? I'm not gonna say bruja to you, okay, but we
You can
know who
say
I
Blue
am,
Heart to me. I listen.
okay? Y'all
Let
know
me get
who
into.
I am,
Well,
okay?
they may use the word adjay. How about that? Adjay. Huh?
You go ask, hey, honey, that's who I
Okay now.
am. That's who
All
I
right
am.
now.
And there's no apologies about it, baby. Listen, I am just as I'm just gonna use this term just as witchy as they come. Okay?
Yes.
That is who I am, okay?
Yes.
With a heart to match, with a heart to match, but honey, I'm as witchy as they come. And I've always been. And I was always into it, moving around, finding a spiritual bath to put on somebody, to give to somebody, always trying to find out how to mix and match herbs together, always light some candles. You will see
Mm.
me dancing to the spirit. You're gonna see me in the room sitting up here, uh,
Yes.
um, uh, channeling different languages, honey, because that's who I am. And that doesn't mean that in order for you to connect with me, that you have to change who you are. But that's who I'm gonna be over here. So over here, if you come and you see Miss Gabby or
Mm.
Miss Gabby the Seer, Bruja Gabby, that's what you're gonna get. Okay,
Yes. I really
that's what you're
want to
gonna
thank
get.
you. I want to thank you for your time, sweetheart. You have been such a treat.
Thank
They
you,
are
girl.
really enjoying this over here on my side of the village. Um, it's so needed. It is so much clarity, understanding. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for
Thank
expressing
you.
the
Thank you.
guidance in you. Thank you for being the divine creation that expressing what God is, your melon, your wisdom, your experience, and honoring your ancestors in front of the public. Like
Fine.
when it says when you deny me before men, I would deny you before. People want the
My
ancestors to
fetish food
walk
is
with them,
moon.
but they're constantly denying them. You are bold,
My fetish
you are
food is moon.
courageous.
My fetish food is
Yeah,
moon.
I appreciate that. And we over here love you. Thank you. And you know this
I
will
love
not
you
be
guys
our
back.
last time. You know,
It won't
Shadow,
for sure.
I want to say shout out to Shadow Wolves and Santista, you know, and Gully, he's another, I mean, he's a voodooist. I mean, I hit it off really
Those are
well.
my babies.
And I just
Those are my
really,
angels. All of them.
yeah.
And
So,
Leilani,
and I,
all of them. Yes.
when I say small world, understand I mean that. Once we open
Yes.
our eyes, we will find that we are so connected.
Yes.
Let me tell
Yes,
y'all,
we
in
are.
my closing, I'm getting ready to get off. If you are a wino and you like to drink, it don't matter what city, state you go in, you're gonna always find people that drink.
That's right.
Okay? If you are seeking truth, no matter where you go or what religion, and you will find truth. And in that truth, you will find other people. So
There you
whatever you
go.
are seeking for, you will find.
I love it. I
That's
love
why I
it.
found Gabby. Because I'm seeking for
That's
some
it.
truth. Come on here. And that's why some of you church
That's it.
folks done found Gabby and these other people because you looking
Hey,
for some
hey,
truth. You just end up as
hey,
knocking
y'all
on
better,
the door of a brouhaha. That's all right.
yeah,
When you looking for a
that's
good
it.
time, don't be surprised what door you end up knocking on. Come on here, somebody, huh?
That's it. That's it, honey. Maybe next time we'll be able to get together and we'll all be able to connect some way, and we'll be able to do some
Yeah,
readings for
matter of
the
fact, we can
people.
actually do this. I think on my Instagram account, I think we can get up to four of us on at one time. So
Would
yeah,
love
we can do
you.
that and really just hammer at this. You know what I'm saying? But I want to say once again, because I do got to get on the road. But thank you so much. We love you.
Thank
This will not be our
you. I love you.
last time. We appreciate you
Got
being
it.
honest, open, and
Yeah.
sharing your testimony, your background, and your experience
Thank
that
you.
you have brought to this world. Thank you so much for the
Thank
gifts
you.
and the roses. Thank you guys so
Thank
much. All
you.
right. Gabby, do
Thank
you have Cash App or something that these that they can get this information?
you.
Is it in the
It is. Is it? No, it's not on my here. I tell you what, it's Gabby the Seer. It's Gabby the Seer there as well
Dollar
too.
sign Gabby the Seer.
Dollar sign Gabby the Seer. Yes, dollar sign. Here I'm
I
gonna
tell you
put it
what,
here. Dollar sign.
text it to me, and give it to me, and I'll put it out there.
I sure
All
will.
right.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for receiving me. Ashe to you guys. Bye.
We love
Blessings on your
you.
journey.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you
I
guys
love you.
for joining us on TikTok. I'll be posting this on YouTube. Guys, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Brother Mario posted there, Gabby the Seer, her Cash App. If you want to be a blessing to her, please do so. She's worth your time and your energy. I mean, sometimes we just got to show some love, and we appreciate you, honey. And this would not be the last time. All right.
Bye, y'all. You know it for sure. Bye, Apostle. Love you.